Hello, welcome back.
What's up?
Welcome back to What's Your Favorite Scary Story, the podcast of the century, your favorite podcast where we grab your suggestions by the vagina and share them with the rest of the world, whether they like it or not, because it was voted in.
I don't think I'm going to let you start for a while. I tuned out halfway through.
I'm sorry.
Once vagina came around, I was out.
Yeah, I'm a little bitter this week, but it's okay. We won't talk about it.
Nope.
And
because you know why? We went to Disney World and we had a great weekend.
We did.
It was so fun.
Yes, we did. Just general rating from 1 to 10. What do you rate Disney World?
Like the entirety of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Like a 7.
Oh, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
I had a feeling. No, it was cool, like, because we had never been, and we've been to Disneyland like a bunch of times, and so obviously we were comparing it to that. So it was cool to just see different things that we had never experienced before. But of course, like,
ouch! I just fucking hit myself. Yeah,
that looked like it hurt. But just, some of the rides they had there also are at Disneyland, and so some of them are, like, different at Disney World, and honestly, they're, like, not quite as good as the ones at Disneyland.
Yeah, they're not. So if you've never been to Disney World, you should, I think everyone should experience it.
Yeah, well, because some 100%. Are better. Like, they have Haunted Mansion, and it's
100% better.
Outside is completely different, first of all, and then the inside did have like a lot of different things that we liked a lot more than the one at Disneyland.
Is
highly recommend.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's one of my favorite rides there.
Yeah, what was our top ride at the whole entirety of Disney World?
Everest, of course.
Expedition Everest,
the coolest ride
highly
there.
Recommend.
100%.
It was super. It was a really good roller coaster. We rode it twice. We got to like get on it.
It like totally makes up for how many times Matterhorn breaks down
and it hurts you.
And if you like Matterhorn, you're gonna love this one even more. This is like awesome.
It was like a really cool version of Matterhorn.
100%. Food was delicious. Drinks were delicious.
We like the food there better than Disneyland for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, awesome trip.
Yeah, it was a good time. We
was
needed
a good trip. It was perfectly timed. Alyssa did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
And I forget how awesome Alyssa is at like planning things. Like, I'm such an anti-planner.
That's
kind
what
of
I was gonna
person.
say. I don't really have a choice. I kind of have to be the planner in the relationship.
Yeah, I'm just like, let's just do whatever we feel like it, whatever. But babe, the way you plan things.
It's because, with Disney World, we had to plan it if we like didn't want to wait in line.
Yeah, because I would have just walked around like, oh, that looks cool, and just waste time.
We would have gone on like 3 rides the whole day.
And leading up to the day, I was like, fuck, we got the schedule to follow and whatever. But it made total sense, and it was timed perfectly.
Well, and we didn't even say the best part. What was it? 4
fireworks?
Well, that was great for you. But
4 parks, 1 day, 2 girls, 1 cup.
3 modes of transportation to these parks. No. Yeah, so we did all of our parks in 1 day. A whole open to close situation. Ignore her. She's dumb. But no, so that's the thing too. I did schedule it to an extent, but also there's only so much I could schedule beforehand. Like, I was scheduling it throughout the day because we could like reserve 3 rides at one park before we got there, but I couldn't reserve anything else in any other parks until we used one of those passes.
Right.
And so once we did that, then I was able to start and I kind of had to just do it as we went, and like things weren't available at some point, so then I'd have to like check it again, and it was just kind of like, I was just like on my phone. Every time I went to the bathroom, I checked to see if things were like available to reserve and stuff. And
I think if you plan on going, I think Alyssa needs to drop like her planning thing, because she did it perfectly, and I can't imagine like any other way We could have spent like
we did
that day on.
You did 13 rides and I did 14 rides because I could not convince her to get on Tower of Terror with me.
Nope, I do not do those drops.
And the line was only like, because I couldn't get a lightning lane for that one, so I actually had to just wait in the standby line. That's the only one that I did that for. But it was only like 35 minutes and it said it was going to be 50, so it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't bad.
So I didn't mind going alone. I had to ride it because I have not been on that ride since California Adventure. In California, I had it, but then they changed it to Guardians.
Right.
I haven't been back to California Adventure since like probably like half my life ago.
Yeah.
For a long time, so I had to do that. So I got on 14 rides. She did 13. We went to 4 different parks, which, like, if you guys don't know, Disney World is like its own city.
It's so huge.
So like each park is at least like 9 minutes away from each other.
It's crazy, dude.
So just getting like to the different parks took up time from our day too. So
yeah, which I was concerned about because there was this one time where we were going from Hollywood Studios to Epcot, and I was like, how about we take a different way of transportation and take the freaking gondola? And then when I asked how to do it, the guy was like, actually, the ferry takes you there quicker. And we just barely got to Epcot on time
for like our next reservation to
but we did it. We made it. It was fun. 7 out of 10. Best parts, highlights, Everest, the food,
Haunted Mansion.
You
know what? Avatar like kind of lives up to the hype a little bit. I wouldn't wait the 2.5 hours that people are waiting for it, but I really enjoyed that ride too.
Yeah, I would buy that pass thing for Avatar.
Yeah, it was just like a single lightning lane pass, so you had to buy it separate from like your main lightning lane pass thing, but it was like
it was worth it.
It was $16 each to not wait for 2.5 hours.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, I recommend it. But yeah, that was our Disney trip. It was great. We hope you guys had a good weekend. We're finally getting back into work life. I was sad about it, but we broke the seal. We're back at work, and we'll just have to look forward to our next vacation, whatever that is.
And I'll figure one out. 4 years.
No.
All right.
You have a not so fun fact for me?
I do, but before we get into it, I wanted to do a quick update on Jacqueline Nunez.
Ooh, yes.
Because we haven't heard about her.
Right.
Jacqueline Nunez, the Conjuring House, the current owner of the Conjuring House, I guess. She missed her court appearance today.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dang, it was today?
It was today.
Dang.
She missed it. It was for the DUI.
I guess I'm not surprised.
Eluding law enforcement. So a bench warrant was issued. And basically the bench warrant is when she's in trouble with the judge for not showing up. It's not like an arrest warrant where they have probable cause to assume that she's a criminal and arrest her. Like they're just trying to get her into court to do the thing and figure out how they're going to charge her, if they're going to charge her. So, yeah, I'm just more concerned about, I'm concerned about her. I'm more concerned about the people in the city. I mean, I don't know. We don't know where she is. So it's just kind of concerning, like, hopefully she's okay. But also, like, if you're around wherever she might be, like, be careful, because she's also not, like,
she's pretty unhinged.
Well, yeah. So had your kids, had your wives. But, yeah, that's my update on her. I didn't.
Wow, thank you.
I'll update later, hopefully next week. Hopefully it's just, they found her and
she didn't think she did anything wrong, so she didn't show up, you know.
Because she needs help, and I feel like if anything, just get her help, and then, we can deal with the rest later.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm ready for my not so fun fact.
Awesome.
Not so fun facts with marbles. So, this was inspired by our flight back home from Disney World.
Okay.
Yeah, when it happened, I was like, oh my freaking God, of course. So I get major anxiety on flights, for those who don't know.
She does.
I get super anxious for no reason or for every reason.
I mean, it's pretty valid.
According to my brain, it's for every reason.
Right.
And I need to have like a drink or two before I get on the flight to help ease my anxiety a little bit, you know what I mean? Which only works half the time. Because as soon as I'm on my seat and we're about, to take off, I just like sober up quickly and I just smell like a beer or something. I don't know. So halfway through the flight, after the fun, turbulent start, flying through the Floridan skies.
The Floridan.
I grabbed the book that I put in my backpack, which, by the way, I finished the one I started last week, and I 100%, 5 out of 5 stars, loved it. I will make my daughter read it every summer when she's growing up. Anyway, I started a new chapter on my new book, and it's as good as I expected it to be.
Good.
So this chapter that I started, unfucking fortunately, talked about nothing other than planes.
No way.
And what about planes? About planes crashing.
Babe, what were you doing?
And so I was like, what? I was like, let me just read into the book. I was like, let me just read into a little further into the book and see if I can find anything else. And so it was just like, I just opened it, and that's where it opened, and I was like, well, fuck it, I'm doing it.
God.
But I laughed it off because it's just funny how.
Right. You're like, of course, this would happen to me.
But the fun fact is about the first ever major airplane disaster involving a twin-aisle aircraft, which is kind of like the plane we took to Scotland. With the twin aisle, the 3-seat kind of thing. With the seats in the middle.
I thought that was like some fancy name.
No, it's
but
just
it's like the kind of plane.
Yeah, it's just a wide. I think they call it like a wide airplane now or something like that. It's like those jumbo 747s. Like
the international ones.
Yeah, like the 747s that are breaking up in the sky nowadays.
Oh, right.
Those are the ones. Okay. So this was December 29th in 1972. Okay. The flight was from New York City to Miami when, out of the blue, the plane crashed into the Everglades in Florida. Oh. And the black box later showed that the cockpit crew was distracted by a conversation of the light for the plane's landing gear that wasn't working. So they were distracted talking about how the light wasn't working. And while they were talking, the airplane mode, what's it called? Like
autopilot.
The autopilot. I don't know. The autopilot, I guess something was off on it, and the pilot didn't see that until it was too late, and he couldn't. God. And so the plane was like slowly descending.
Can we talk about also how it crashed in Florida, and we were literally leaving
that's why
Florida.
I was like, what the fuck?
Jeez.
And so by the time the pilot realized it was too late, but luckily. Unfortunately, 101 people died. Oh my God. But luckily, because the plane crashed in the water, the water absorbed most of the hit, most of the energy. So 75 people survived.
It's a good amount.
And strangely, the lake or water swamp, I guess, is kind of like the hero in the story because of the muddy waters and the mud covered a lot a cuts, which prevented them from bleeding out.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's cool. So,
yeah, it's a cool, not so cool story.
Right.
But there's an interesting result to the story, prompting the question amongst the Eastern airliner attendants, do ghosts fly? And so, do ghosts fly?
Okay.
So apparently some of the pieces of this plane weren't in bad condition after the crash. So they grabbed them and used these pieces to replace other planes, like other pieces of other planes.
Talked about this before, or like maybe I've heard this talked about somewhere about the concept of like if someone dies in a plane crash, like is their spirit attached to like that part of the plane? Is that like where you're going?
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't remember hearing about it. You probably heard it in one of your podcasts.
Maybe. But it was just kind of like a concept I remember like being talked about. Okay, I'm sorry. I interrupted you this time.
It's fine. But they got like parts of the plane to
recycle them, basically.
To recycle them, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden, ghostly sightings in the plane that received the parts.
That's crazy.
People started to talk about it. They started saying, some attendants were saying that they saw something in the reflection of the oven door while they were cooking something. And so it was just kind of like stories that they would whisper to each other. Until eventually the airline warned the stewardess, like, you guys need to knock it off. Because they were scaring people, basically.
Right.
And people didn't want to work for them anymore or at all. So, yeah, the airplane company basically warned them, and the story started dying out.
Damn. And, I don't know where. Maybe the podcast I listen to, maybe they just, like...
Excuse me.
Maybe they just were like talking and like thinking outside the box about hauntings and stuff. Like, what happens like if you die like in an airplane or something like that? Like, where is going to be haunted by your spirit if you're kind of thing?
If you haunt, like,
yeah,
where
but
would it be?
I don't remember that like story specifically.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I figured you'd like it.
Though, like, you would hate that, being stuck on a flight for the rest of your life, or for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
Being anxious at all times. That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Poor people.
Yeah, poor ghosties.
Poor ghosty woasties. Well, thanks for your not so fun fact.
Thanks for listening.
It was kind of fun, but sad, but good that people survived.
Yeah.
But a little messed up, but also interesting at the end.
Very interesting.
It had all the things. Good job.
Thank you. Oh, we haven't clapped today.
Oh my god, you're right. Welcome, everyone. Here are your claps for the day. Alright, should we get into my story now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Alright, so this week's topic was suggested by Jacob from Oregon.
Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob, for writing in. We appreciate you. He suggested that we cover the town of Port Townsend, Washington. Okay. I was very excited when I saw this email because it's fine, I guess. I was excited because this was one of like my favorite places to go when I like lived in Washington. It was kind of far from me, but I had been there I think like 2 or 3 times.
What was this place called again?
Port Townsend.
Port Townsend. Okay.
Yeah.
Port Townsend.
End.
Port Sound. Ports Town. Ports Town. Ports. Just ignore me.
Are you genuinely trying right now?
I'm trying to like. I'm not gonna explain it. Just go.
Okay. Anyways, it was just like a cute kind of like Pacific Northwest little town with cute buildings and stuff like that. I loved it. But yeah, I had no idea that it was haunted. So we're going to be covering a few haunted places in Port Townsend.
Doesn't it kind of suck when you find out after the fact?
Because I want to go to these places.
Yes,
now.
That's happened to me.
Idea.
Yes, that's happened to me a few times now. And I'm like, damn it! We were just there that last year. Like,
yep. I was doing this research. I'm like, we haven't done anything paranormal in a while. We need to go on another little ghost investigation situation.
I think so too.
I miss it. All right, so our first place is the Manresa Castle. In 1892, Charles Eisenbeis had this house built for him and his wife, Kate. Eisenbeis.
Oh.
You got all excited? You thought there was bites in it?
Yeah, ice and bites.
Oh, I get it.
Like biting ice? Chewing ice?
I think it was like German or something. Eisenbeis. But yeah, Port Townsend was the first incorporated city in Jefferson County, and it was only incorporated 14 years before the Manresa Castle was built. So at the time, this was the largest private residence ever built in Port Townsend. It had 30 rooms, multiple fireplaces, and was very beautiful and ornate, and was reminiscent of castles in Prussia, where Charles was from, hence why people called it a castle. Because it like kind of looked like things over there.
It's probably like the castle on the 840.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no cat there. You're just playing with my foot?
Yep.
Because you love me?
Yep.
Don't want to twist your arm. Okay, so over the years, the castle building.
The castle.
It passed through a few different owners. In 1927, Jesuit priests took ownership, and they ended up naming the complex Manresa Hall after the town in Spain where Ignatius founded their order. And they had like a kind of a school there, I guess, with religious teachings. So why is this place haunted? Well, supposedly a monk or a preacher who was staying in room 302, I guess he lost faith and he ended up hanging himself.
Like the nun.
I guess, yeah. Well, that was a whole different story.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
She didn't want to get possessed.
If that's the... Yeah, no, you're right.
A little bit different.
Maybe.
We don't know the whole story.
Yeah.
Now, in room 306, I guess there was a woman staying there at one time, and the story either goes that her lover that she was waiting for stood her up, or her lover was said to be lost at sea. But either way, this woman supposedly threw herself out of her window.
Like The Conjuring. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, I think it actually happened in The Nun, too.
I think so.
I think it was in The Nun. I think that's how she sacrificed herself.
She, like, just fell off the window, no?
Yeah.
And, like, onto the stairs?
Yeah.
Dude.
Wild.
Okay, more.
Okay, so obviously these two spirits are seen the most at Manresa Castle. I guess the front desk manager, Kimberly Smith, has been there for a while. She says the sightings are pretty frequent. Stop playing with the cord.
Sorry.
Making noises. You're like the cats, damn. So yeah, the sightings are pretty frequent. They get reports of guests seeing things about 2 to 3 times a week. Kimberly said that it's nothing negative or evil. They just seem to be making their presence known. So, of course, this hotel has more than 2 ghosts. Kimberly has received accounts of a sad, unseen violinist, a giggling child, and a woman named Natalie. So what exactly do people experience here?
Do people?
Shut up. Do people?
The people. The people.
Well, remember the monk or preacher, right, that supposedly hung himself?
Yes.
I guess he did this act in the attic, so many people can hear his footsteps up in the attic walking around. In the cafe, which used to be the chapel, drinks would just spontaneously explode, even when servers were holding them, and then empty glasses would turn upside down on their own. Doors open and close on their own. Lights turn on and off on their own.
Nosferatu.
People will feel unexplained puffs of air on their shoulders while walking down the stairs.
That's creepy.
Yeah. In the attic, someone captured an EVP of a man saying, "I'm not here."
What?
In the dining room, a photo was taken of the table, and in it you can see what looks to possibly be Kate Eisenbeis sitting at the table in a long Victorian gown.
Not kissing Kate Barlow.
No, different Kate.
Okay.
Most likely always a different Kate.
Okay.
Not
Kate Winslet or Kate Middleton.
Do you mean Winslet?
Kate Winslet or Kate Middleton.
No.
Or Kate Gosselin.
Or Kate Sanders.
Or Katy Perry.
No. How many Kates do you know?
Catherine.
What is Miss Catherine? What is that from?
From Holes.
Is it?
Yes. It's her student.
Oh, yeah, when her student's all grown up, because that's what they call her, is Miss Catherine. Okay, derailed. Also, in the dining room, someone captured an EVP of a woman speaking in German, saying that everything would be all right. Now, the third floor is where stuff happens. And you remember room 302 and 306. It's where our two people were staying, right. The ones that took their lives. In room 306, they actually had a logbook for a while where guests could record their experiences. But eventually, when guests would read the stories in this book, they would ask for a room change, so they ended up removing the book from the room.
I mean, they could have sold the room as that versus just normally
people
selling
need to just lean into it, man. People are into this stuff now. But there has been a lot of activity from a female spirit in this room. A lot of this activity is thought to be the spirit of Kate Eisenbeis, not another Kate, as well as possibly the spirit of Lotta Eisenbeis, the granddaughter of Charles and Kate, who died at a young age, not like at the Manresa, but nearby. And supposedly she liked to spend a lot of time at her grandparents' house, so it would make sense that she would reside there after death. But back to room 306. There has often been an entity seen with long, flowing, dark hair and wearing, what do you think?
A white dress.
Yep, a white gown. She likes to stand by the window and is said to be curious and likes to look at guests' belongings in the dresser and on the floor.
She's like an XL?
Come on now. None of that. She likes to move things a little, usually leaving the dresser drawers open. She also likes to sing in the bathroom in the morning and is known to create good and bad smells in the room depending on how she likes the guests.
She's just like farting
She's
everywhere.
just crop dusting everyone that's an asshole in that room.
In the bathroom, I know of a place where we never get harmed. A magical place.
The 1800s ghost,
charm.
no SpongeBob, for sure.
Indoors.
Beautiful, beautiful.
I was rubbing my pits, by the way.
She was miming showering, but not quietly. Also, she has been known to sit on the bed while guests are in it.
I would hate that, to feel that, honestly.
That's got to be one of the worst.
That's got to be freaking creepy. Especially at night. And, like, as a light sleeper, that would wake me up.
Like, when it feels like one of the cats has, like, jumped on the bed or something, and they're just sleeping out in the living room, and you're like, what was that?
Sometimes the bed does adjust, like a spring or something.
Right. But it feels like a cat sometimes. It's freaky. And, all right. So, lastly, good old Zach Baggins visited this place with his team, and what they found was pretty similar to the experiences that others have had.
He showed up with his glasses and his tight t-shirt.
His black v-neck.
His black v-neck. Now I know these places might haunt the living, but it's really the living that haunt these places.
Ooh, nice. Very Zach coded. All right, so Zach Bagans and his team, they heard hijinks. They heard the footsteps in the attic. A door swung open on its own. A chair tipped over on its own. They talked with a housekeeper who I guess was violently attacked by a ghost, which is interesting because there was nothing else like that in the research I found.
They just like slipped her a 20.
For real?
Just read this TV here. The prompt, or what's it called?
The teleprompter.
The teleprompter,
yeah.
please.
In room 306, the lights flickered on and off, and the TV turned on and off, and an entity supposedly mimicked and tormented Aaron.
It's always Aaron.
It's always Aaron. And that was the story of the Manresa Castle. I've noticed, like, there's always something negative happening at these places that they investigate. Like at the Winchester, when they went there, they got a whole bunch of negative stuff, and we did not pick up on that at all from the Winchester.
Not at all.
So that's why I've got to say it's either like, obviously this is like a big possibility, but either they're like faking their shit, or it's like the energy you put into these places is what you're going to get out of it.
Right, yeah.
You know, because we went in there with positivity and like respect.
Right.
And we got great like feelings and auras from it. And whatnot.
Yeah, I felt like we got love almost.
Yeah.
From the place, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see like that his team kind of, or him specifically, just
like zhuzhing it up.
Yeah, because very interestingly, I came across this YouTube channel of this old man who I guess had a show on the Travel Channel for a while. And he had this I totally forgot to send it to you. I thought it was interesting. But he had a show on the Travel Channel, and it was only like a few episodes, and they had like the second season already like scripted to what they were gonna be making it about. And this was around the time when I believe the Travel Channel bought Zach Bagans' like idea for Ghost Adventures.
Right.
And the Travel Channel just X'd out that old man and didn't tell him.
Oh my God.
And he just got like left in the dust.
Yes, send it to me so I can watch it. He deserves our views.
Yeah, and he was just saying how it wasn't just his show, but a bunch of other like paranormal people like Jason Hawes with Taps and like all that stuff, how they just got pushed out, and basically Zach Bagans bought the producers and the people and ideas to make Ghost Adventures. And I'm like, wow, that fucking sucks. That makes me hate Ghost Adventures even more.
It doesn't surprise me at all. No.
Yeah.
But we have to move on. So next up, we have Fort Worden Historical State Park. Another place in Port Townsend. It was constructed between 1898 and 1917 and made up part of the coastal defense system known as the Triangle of Fire. This fort was stocked with guns and artillery and once housed around 1,000 troops and officers who were training to defend the Puget Sound from potential invaders, like enemy invaders. Military activity at the fort stopped in 1953. And in 1958, it became a diagnostic and treatment center, which after like further research, I realized it was like
a dialysis.
No, it was like one of those like facilities for like, I don't know if it was as bad as like the things we've seen documentaries on, but like to debilitate teens kind of thing, or like troubled teens. Like, and so it was like a treatment center for young people, I guess. I don't know how bad it was, like in comparison to other places we've heard about. But today it is now a 432-acre multi-use park that still features Victorian-era officers' homes and hidden gun emplacements. Preservationists actually fought to keep all of these buildings standing, so everything is still there, including underground military bunkers and tunnels, which the public has access to.
That's fun.
It's really cool. And like some of the buildings you can like rent out to like stay, almost as like an Airbnb type of situation.
Yeah, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah. And they also have access to some ghosts at this place.
Okay.
Hauntings of this place included moans being heard from the dark hallways of the barracks. At dusk, images of vibrating lights can be seen inside some of the buildings that don't have electricity. The smell of burning coal, rubber, or hot sulfur has been noticed in the front area of the main house.
That's like this devil's scent.
Yeah.
The sulfur.
Yeah.
My mom once bought me this acne.
Oh, God.
This acne thing. I had really bad acne as a teenager. And so she gave me like this sulfur cream.
Oh,
and I had no idea what it smelled like or what it was. And she was like, yeah, they told me this is going to work. And this, because I also had like, well, I still have like acne scars. And it was supposed to clear up my face or whatever. And I opened it, smelled it. I was like, Mom, this is disgusting. I'm not going to put this on my face. She's like, no, put it on. Gets a big ass glob and starts spreading it all over my face. And she's like, just make sure, just sleep with it on.
Sleep with it?
Yeah, sleep with it on.
That does not seem normal.
And then it started like burning. Well, it's freaking sulfur. It's a sulfur cream.
Jesus.
And it started burning, and I was like,
doing?
And she like, I start washing it off, and she sees me. She's like, you're supposed to keep it on. I was like, Mom, and my skin was red. I was like, I'm not keeping it on. It hurts and it smells. She's like, well, just put a little bit then, but don't let it go. Like,
Did it help at all?
No, that was the only time I used it, because then I washed my face. Then again, the next day, my pillow was full of this smell cream, and that's all I can smell next day at school. And I thought, like, everyone can smell me.
No.
And I'm pretty sure everyone can smell me.
Poor baby Barbs.
I was like in 6th, 7th grade or something. Not even. No, I was like in high school already, so that's even more embarrassing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It sucked, dude. Anyways. The devil's scent.
Yes, there was the devil's scent. And there has been a photo of a spirit in purple clothing, and many people who visit claim to feel like they're being watched. So that was the Fort Worden Park. Not too much to it, but it was
creepy.
interesting.
Kind of cool, though.
I saw a picture online where a guy was like taking a picture, like pictures of his daughter, and I don't know if it was like one of the tunnels or like barracks or something, but you can see kind of just like the back part of her head and like her ponytail, her ponytail like flying back, but then in the background you can see like the figure of like a man. It's pretty creepy.
That's so creepy.
Yeah. All right. Lastly, we have the Starrett Mansion. This house was built in 1889 by George Starrett, a man who loved his wife Anne so much that he had a house built for her. Why didn't you build me a house, babe?
I moved to Tennessee for you.
That counts. The house was built in a beautiful Queen Anne / Victorian style, and the attention to detail was just stunning. It was truly just like a gorgeous home. George and Anne lived there all their lives and truly enjoyed every minute of it. And after them, their son continued to stay, as well as a few more generations after him. Eventually, the house was put up for sale, and a couple named Bob and Edel Sokol.
Edel.
I know. I thought it was like Edith at first, but it's Edel. You know what? If your name out there is Edel, I love it. It's a beautiful name. They bought the mansion and turned it into a bed and breakfast.
Okay.
They like really renovated the place in like a good way. They added bathrooms and fireplaces from other nearby homes that were also from the same era, and like they even got help from one of the Starrett family members and restored the original wallpaper.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that.
A little
they
bit
obviously cared.
A little Sarah Borden happening there.
Sarah Borden.
Yeah, because it's a bed and breakfast now.
Lizzie Borden?
Who the hell is Sarah Borden?
I don't know. There is always like a Sarah in some of these, you know? Sarah, Kate.
Catherine.
There's always a Catherine. But around 2005, this place did temporarily shut down. And when it reopened, it did stop serving food and was just a hotel.
I wonder why it stopped serving food after it was shut down.
What happened? I don't know.
Oh, the ghost. It was just crawling with cockroaches.
Oh my gosh. Well, eventually the Sokols did need to...
The Sokols?
That's their name.
Oh, I thought you said... I thought you You were trying to say the locals.
You know, that was who bought it. It was the Sokol. Edel Sokol. That was her name. Don't disrespect her, all right? But they needed to retire eventually. So they put the place on the market, and they just have 2 innkeepers like running it so that they can still keep the business going until it sells. And interestingly, they are just selling it as a private residence, not a hotel at all. They just want it to be like a home again.
With 30 rooms?
Yeah. Wait, no, that was the first place.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This place is a bed and breakfast, so there's probably like 8 rooms or something.
8 rooms, yeah.
So why would a lovely place like this be haunted? Well, it is believed that the Starretts loved living here so much that they just didn't want to leave. And the same goes for the nanny that they had for their son. She just loved working for this family and living in this house so much that she just wanted to keep working there.
I have a theory about ghosts.
I bet you do. Go ahead.
So what if like when you're dying and you have like the part of like your life flashing before your eyes and you just see like your best moments that you ever lived, and you just stay in the one that was your favorite.
I mean, that's like a very normal theory,
and that's where you like just choose to stay, and that's the place that you haunt.
Well, and it's like the theory with like the airplanes, where it's like if they die on an airplane, like are they gonna get trapped there, or are they gonna go haunt like their childhood home where they grew up and spent their whole life, you know? Because I feel like we hear about that a lot, where like it's the same building, but the monk / preacher from the first story, he died in the attic, but he tends to actually haunt the room he was in, not the attic. I mean, the attic and his room. And then the granddaughter, she died at a different place, but she loves spending time at her grandparents' house, and so she's thought to be haunting there too. So I think I don't know what the rules are, but I feel like it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, let's talk about the hauntings. First, we have the woman with the red hair.
At least it's not the red dress.
For real. It's done something different. I feel like we've never heard this one before. But she is a very peaceful, welcoming spirit who likes to just enjoy the mansion and sort of acts like a hostess to the living guests staying there.
Just a chill ghost.
Yeah, she's just straight chilling. People often say they feel a welcoming aura all throughout the mansion. And they've also seen an apparition with red hair. This is thought to be Anne Starrett, or another woman from the Starrett family, since obviously red hair does run in the family usually. At one point, 2 innkeepers were outside the mansion and they were walking towards it, assuming it was locked and empty, probably coming in for the day. When they looked up, they saw a red-haired woman on the freestanding stairway, admiring the solar calendar, which was a testimony to love, I guess. She was known to stare at it. Now, where the innkeeper saw this woman, there was a full-length window that she could completely see into the house, but she only saw the upper half of the woman.
Dang.
All right, so there is said to be a male entity at the Starrett mansion. It is believed to be George Starrett, the red hair, what was her name? Anne's husband. But he seems to be a pretty mellow spirit, like not very active at all, and just likes to come visit the house with his wife when she comes. He's like, yeah, sure. Oh, you're going down to the house? Sure, I'll come with you. That's how you are.
Yeah.
You don't let me go to Dutch alone.
Nope.
All right. Now, the most active entity seems to be the spirit of the nanny. She is pretty much the only spirit that actually interacts with the guests, especially in her old bedroom on the 2nd floor. She is described as an older, dignified, well-mannered woman with some gray hair. Both staff and guests have seen a partial reflection of her in a mirror in her old bedroom, which I feel like is almost a little creepier than actually seeing the apparition. It's like the classic thing from a movie when you close the medicine cabinet.
And you see something behind you.
Staff working late at night have seen the shadow of a female form in Victorian attire glide up the stairs to the second floor. So this woman still like loves to do her job. Like, you know, those people where like, oh, they're stuck doing their job forever. That sucks. No, she is like
She's
here
loving
for it.
Yeah.
Yes. She will turn the lights off when the living have left them on after they exit a room.
It's very kind. Very considerate.
She will gently move fine crystal on display in the grand parlor, almost as if she's like dusting it. She also doesn't like when people break her house rules. People who stay in her room and are not neat may often experience physical occurrences to get their attention. Pictures have been lifted up and thrown on the floor. And watch what you say, because I guess any criticism of like the place, the service and accommodations, the owners, the innkeepers, or just anyone in the Starrett family in general will earn you a thump on the head from the nanny. And that was the Starrett Mansion in Port Townsend, Washington.
That was good. Yeah. I love this. Yeah.
No, I feel like it's spookier when it's over in the Pacific Northwest, you know? So there are like Massachusetts. Those are a good place for spooky stories.
Yeah, I could see that.
Anything
New England, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, Jacob,
I loved hearing all that. Now I want to go back. That should be your next vacation. Let's go to Washington.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah. Washington sounds good.
It's good. I need you to see it. I've been to Arizona where you spent your time at that time. Now you got to come see my place.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I am.
An eye for an eye.
Exactly. But that was this week's story. I hope you guys loved it. If you have any ideas of what you want to hear, that's the whole thing that we're doing on this podcast. So
your favorite podcast.
The only one you listen to, I'm sure. So send in those ideas. Where to?
You can send them to whatsyourfavoritescarystory@gmail.com, or
you can send us a DM on Instagram, which is also going to be What's Your Favorite Scary Story. We want to hear all your suggestions, all your personal stories, your hopes and dreams, your fears, your favorite ice cream flavor,
your likes, your dislikes. What's the longest you've grown your toenails?
I don't want to hear that. You can find Marlene's personal Instagram and tell her there. But on that note, we hope you guys have a great week. We appreciate you. As always, thanks for listening.
Yeah, heck yeah.
And you're the best. So
you're the best.
Make sure that you
stay spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.